What's up? What's up?
What's up, James? How are you, buddy?
Doing good, man. What's up, everybody? I just wanted to, let you all know. I mean, I'm here interviewing an agent that, probably one of the most incredible stories, that I've heard personally that we're going to kind of get into and dive into here. But every Thursday, we're interviewing an agent that's killing it and crushing it within their field. We're adding tremendous value to the real estate agent that's looking to scale their business. When I first got in, I didn't have a whole lot of people that was able to, initially impart into my career, start getting connected with the right folks, and my business took off from there. So I always made a commitment to make sure I'm giving back and sharing, and that's what we're about right now. So I'm here with DJ, which is my brother from another mother.
You too, man. Love you, man.
out there in PA.
Yes,
so,
sir.
but yeah, man, we talked before, and you told me about like your background and your story, and how things you were doing before, and how you actually got into real estate in of itself, and like trials and tribulations. We all got them.
Yep.
That we go through and overcome. But for the people, man, just kind of like tell us like where how you started, where you came from, and how you got to where you are right now.
Sure. Yeah. So it had a father in mortgages and real estate, right? So always thought I would never follow in his footsteps. I thought I was going to be a professional football player, but not getting past 5'9". Didn't make it. So, um, yeah. So first job was actually with PNC Bank. Actually, no. First job was a financial advisor. That was actually the best. I just said this the other day. The best job I ever had because I was cold calling about 5 hours a day, and that was the foundation to allow me to kind of become fearless just by talking to individuals and be able to speak. So from there, moved to PNC, and then my business partner currently, Matt Durbin, we actually met playing college football. So after the PNC stint and kind of being in the mortgage business, moved from there to a company called CIT as an outside kind of mortgage account executive. And then we decided that we were going to try to start a mortgage and real estate company pre 2008. So for all of us who've been through that, right? Did not predict, did not know, but I always say some of the, like you said, some of the trials, tribulations, and best lessons we learn are those tougher times, and through our failures is where we grow. So um, yeah, so from we were able to successfully get a mortgage and real estate company uh, up and running. Actually, primarily all mortgage at that time, and did really well. Had a great time, had a lot of fun. And 2008, of course, came right. So from there, I made the decision at that time to take a pause from the industry. I was in it, a little bit longer. Matt stayed in full time on real estate. I kind of went into the technology side of things, and kind of 010, 11, things started to kind of normalize, I would say. And then I always had that passion though to get back um, full time into real estate, right? So um, my technology path was also an amazing part of my life. A lot of stress, but a lot of success. And the universe and how life works is amazing, right? So from there, having success, worked for a software company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a while, and after selling, actually, ironically, Trump properties, George interviewed me. So the gentleman from the TV show, old George, he was the one who I had to convince to buy my software. And ironically, right as I'm getting ready to close on the last day, Donald Trump himself gets on speakerphone and says, "I'll buy it, but it's half off," which means DJ makes no commission. Never been that hard pressed in my life. Said, "Yep, we'll do it." With one condition, I want a press release, and that press release actually allowed me to close um, at the time the Navy, which was one of the largest sales I've ever had. So I say that because that sale allowed me to join CDW, Amazing company, great people, learned a ton there. And, my goal there was to reach, they call it President's Club. So top 2 reps in the country. There was about 165 account executives. Missed it on Christmas Eve by, it was like 0.34%. I'll never forget that. So Christmas Eve, my boss calls me like, DJ, I got bad news, buddy. You missed it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Next year, I promised myself, I'm like, I'm going to hit this goal. I did it. And as soon as I hit that goal, I was so burned out, I retired. So that's kind of the funny part of the story is it took everything I've ever had, like long nights, early mornings, and truthfully, I was the pride of making the goal was awesome. It wasn't even about the money, but the part that was harmful was I felt like I was on a treadmill that was on like level 10. I couldn't get off. And as I get older, that was a moment that really made me start to think. And Matt, best friend, always talking to me, said, DJ, I'm worried about you, like health wise and mentally, like, is it worth it? And he was right. At the time, that was a big eye-opening moment. And that's when I decided to take a trip around the world. And I called it like a reset, mentally, spiritually, just all of it. Like I lost touch with myself, my health, relationships, God, just all of it, right? So that was probably, I always say, like, my son is my number one. He's my main man, the best thing ever. But number 2 was that trip. It truly it saved my life. It changed my my mindset. And that trip allowed me to get back to even. And then Matt and I were talking, and now we come to a little bit of present day. He said, I'm ready to get the band back together. And I said, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling dangerous. I'm excited. I said, I think we should do it. So 4.5 years ago now, and time flies, it was him and I. And at the time, Matt was doing pretty well. And I'll never forget the first day he said, he's like, you're comfortable on the phone. I just want you to start calling expireds and FSBOs. Never did that. Had no idea what I was doing. And it failed a lot, called a lot, right? But through failure, we get better. I just kept practicing. I kept pushing. And I looked at it like just swinging a baseball bat. The more times we swing, the more chances we have to hit the ball. So we were doing really well. And then, of course, I found out I was going to have a son, which was the greatest news of my life. Matt similar. And I said, we can't do the 7 days a week. It's just too much. Like I never want to ignore my family, right? So for me, it's faith, family, work, right? And I know you're the same. That's why I respect you so much. So with that being said, as we needed to get more time back, we started to look at, well, how do we scale? And that's where the team came in, where we said, buyer's agents, of course, can add a lot of value, help us on weekends, evenings, etc., give us some time back. And that's been the last 4 years. It's just been a really fun ride, and proud to say we hit just north of 52 million last year for 3XP. We became the number 1 team in the state. So I'm proud of that, and proud of my team, proud of my business partner.
Man, that is freaking awesome, man. I mean, if that's not a hero story, I don't know what is. Just going from that whole thing. I mean, but I'm just kind of going back a little bit, like, what you said. You hit your goal and you were burnt out. So, I mean, I think that happens to a lot of people. Like, we have this idea of where we want to be, and we do everything to get there, to get to that place. And sometimes when we get there, that's not really where we want to be. That place that we thought it was isn't as nice as we thought it would be once we arrive there. So, like, I mean, just kind of going down that path, man. Like what was that like? Just like finally getting there, and then just realizing that's not the person you want to be. That's not the destination that you want to end up.
Man, that's such a good point. We often say, in January 1st, we say, here's our yearly goal. And even now, my feeling is don't do a yearly, do a quarterly, because to your point, our goals can change based on what we want from life. When I had set that goal at CDW, it was honestly just getting a trophy. It wasn't even about the money I made. It was so much pride because I felt like when I got hired by that company, I had made it to the NFL. And in my mind, being a competitive guy, I said, I made it in the NFL. Now I want to be in the Pro Bowl. And not only do I want to be in the Pro Bowl, I want to be the MVP and I want to win the Pro Bowl. So I set very lofty goals, right? So the difficult thing is, and I found this to be true, and sometimes to reach these numbers, these goals, you'll sacrifice more than you ever dreamed of. And doing so, it's not always worth it. So the reason I'm happy I did it then, now that I'm a father and I value time more than anything, I wouldn't do that again. Like, right. And you're right. Like it was actually, it was painful, right? I mean, I was the amount of effort, the work, the things I didn't get to do, missed events, family time, just all of it at the time. I became like a robot and just, I got to hit this goal. I got to hit this goal. And then when I did it, the happiness lasted about 10 seconds. Oh. I mean, I'll never forget it. Like as soon as they announced it, I was like, okay. Because I knew once I got it, I could never do it again, like sustain that level. That's why I call it the treadmill. It was like a treadmill on 10. Like sometimes I look back and think like, how did I even do it? But my health really deteriorated because I was going to a lot of dinners. I was drinking more. So all of it, I was just gaining weight. And I went to a physical, and that was an eye-opening moment. The doctor said, he's like, you might have, 10 years, you might have 6 months. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like that really shook me. I remember getting in my car saying like, I'm a young guy. I've always been an athlete. Like, how could that be possible? But he was right. I was burning the candle at both ends. I just wasn't taking care of myself. And so, yeah, that's, I guess, a lesson for anyone listening and or whoever's younger. Be careful the reason why we chase our goals. Do it for the right reasons and start with your heart. Go from your heart. But in my opinion, it's designed around your life. We always talk about that, right? Like yep, our business can be designed around what we want our life to be. When I was younger, I didn't think that was possible. Now I see it's completely possible, and so many people doing it. And that's the beautiful thing. Like you can literally design our careers around what we want our life to be. So,
but sometimes, I mean, I know like even just your life goals change in and of itself. I mean, my goals at 21 is not the same goals at 40, right?
Totally.
I mean, I looked at things totally different at that time. I remember my, quote unquote dream job was to be able to go to an office, have a desk, dress up nice. Before that, I mean, I was like when I was 20, and before that, I always had like labor jobs, and I finally got that. I was working at Equifax, got to do all that, and 4 or 5 months in it, I hated it. So I got to where I wanted to be, but I hated it. So I had to pivot. I had to start making different goals, and really it was just more of discovering what I liked, what I wanted, and then just changing everything based upon that. And it sounds like that's kind of what you did. Just the fact that you took that time off, just kind of traveling and seeing different things. Like what are some of the things that you might have discovered about yourself that you didn't know before?
Man, that's a great question. So I'll never forget this. The first 2 weeks, it was almost like I had like a mini panic attack because I was so used to answering, 300 emails a day, phone calls, text messages, and not having a phone. So I had a phone, but no service, right? I cannot describe how weird it is to go from that to nothing, right? like it's like I had nothing. I had no family, friends texting. I just had nothing. I was like, this is crazy. So, um, after those 2 weeks, which were hard because it was a very big transition, I started to really feel peace. Right. So when you say what I discovered, I was waking up without an alarm at between 5:30 and 6, because I was I started my trip in Costa Rica. So beautiful place, sunny beach, and I'd naturally wake up. I stopped drinking coffee. I stopped drinking alcohol. So I'm I'm on as pure as I can be. Like week 2, I'm like, this is very different, right? So my morning, I just started a routine. So I'm a big believer in like routine, right? Good workout, some meditation, some prayer, and I read a lot. It allowed me time to really catch up on a lot of books, a lot of audibles. So self discovery. Um, a learned a ton just by the reading. B, some of the relationships I've made are still some great people around the world that I still talk to. That's invaluable. And in those relationships, not only good, but there's always life lessons. I'll never forget there was a gentleman with his father in Costa Rica, and again I said like barely ever drank. This one day it was like I was there maybe day 40. I was like, I'm just gonna have one drink today, just one, just to reward myself. I ran like 15 miles. I have one cocktail, and this gentleman, his father, unfortunately had stage 4 cancer. And instead of being in the hospital or hospice, his dying wishes were to travel with his son. His son was a very successful entrepreneur that was able to take some time off and travel with his father. And he told me, I told him my story. He's like, this is the best thing you'll ever do. The ability to just unplug, reset. And this is an 82-year-old man saying, if I could do anything over again, I would have taken more risk. I would have traveled more. I would have asked that girl that I thought I loved out. I would have, tried that entrepreneurial job. Like he played it safe his whole life, right? And that was big for me mentally. I always would take more risk, but it just kind of reaffirmed. Here's an 82-year-old man, way more life experience, telling me, I love that you're doing this, and don't stop doing this, right? So the personal growth, again, I said physically lost about 40 pounds, mentally never felt more clear. It was like I was on limitless pills, right? Like everything, like I could just process thoughts faster. Spiritually, I felt really good. I just felt, my faith grew. I was praying a lot more. And then that's why, and honestly, I was attracting a lot. Like we talk about attraction.
Yeah.
When everything for you is on point, you definitely attract. I would just be walking down the street. It was like conversations, people, like things just came and they felt natural, right? So yeah, so that's why I was so open-minded. And then, Matt talking about growing again a team, it got me excited because now that I took some time off of work, I was like, I am ready to get back, and I'm hungry, I'm excited, and now and James, here's something else that's important. The goal before was just money. The goal now was helping.
Yeah.
That is, if I could say one thing, a key difference with age and everything. When you do things for the right reasons in your heart, and you truly are doing it to help, and we are, you and I, we're so fortunate to be surrounded by amazing folks that are the same, right? That help us every day. Jay, John, Al, Mike, Mary, like all of our squad. I have never felt something like this other than when I played football. And that's where, like, when you do the right things and your heart's in the right place, that's when things just come. The abundance mindset. Like, so again, another life lesson. Like, if you're just chasing, it's like chasing a cheetah. You won't catch it, right? Like every time you think you're there, it pivots. So that's another thing I just want to stress is focus on helping. You focus there, everything happens.
Man, like somebody was telling me one time, like when you get your mind off of your needs and get your mind on somebody else's needs, miraculously your needs get taken care of.
Totally.
I mean, which is honestly, I mean, it's a biblical thing, right? Like, you help somebody else, and then, God is responsible for helping you in that whole process. So that's kind of what you're talking about right now. But that whole discovery part, what you mentioned before, like, I do vacations. My thing is vacations, but I do them for not just the fact that I like to be out of town, but just more just clearing out the cobwebs, right? Like a lot of times when you're in the midst of the forest, you can't see your way through the trees. But
Exactly.
when you're able to like levitate above the forest and be able to see like the true game plan, like when you go back and get back in the forest, like which direction you're trying to go in. So I mean, and that's what I think what that journey that you did was like. But not only that, but just like so many people, man, they live life in regret. What I'm saying, like when I was in high school, I wish I'd have done this, or when I was in my 20s, I wish I'd have did that. When I was in my 30s, I wish I would have done this. Like at a certain point, like, it's like, all right, when are you going to stop doing that? When are you going to start just, grabbing the bull by the horn and start doing the things that you say you want to do? So the fact that you did that and now you're, got that development and now you're pouring into your team and into, so many other agents that have trusted you right now. I mean, that's tremendous, because you're adding so much value, and from that value, you just mentioned you're like the number one team within your state, which is huge in and of itself, right?
I appreciate that so much. I again, I'm very grateful that so many such as yourself have helped us and just we can collaborate and grow together, because when you have that, you just have such a sense of wanting to give more back to others, right? So it starts just being grateful to be surrounded by the right people and and we all share the common beliefs, right? So I mean that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned our group. I mean, our group shares and you know help each other, and like I think we knew each other just from just connections, but like the time that we spent down in Florida,
oh,
that was
absolutely. That's why events are amazing. You're right. Like it's funny. I was thinking like we met really briefly. I think at one of the Brent Gove events, right?
yep, yep,
And then you kind of feel closer because of social media.
yeah,
But there is nothing like truly spending like 2 days with someone where you really feel like now we're like family. Like
yeah,
you really know them. Know each other intimately and that's the coolest thing. So yeah, the other thing I know we always stress, like events can what is it, big decisions come from big events,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So again, for anybody out there who if you're hesitant, just go for it. My advice: go to the event, even if you don't have the money, throw it on a credit card, and you never know who you meet or just those experiences again. Like so yeah.
Yeah, man. You might get pulled over by the police in a golf cart.
The reason that'll forever make me laugh is David.
Yeah, man. David was a character.
Never really that nervous. He made me nervous.
Well, man, tell me so like, all right, so for an agent that's that's trying to grow, looking to make things happen, have the hustle, because I mean I know we have the hustle. Like, what advice would you give them in order to grow their business?
The number one thing, I just talked about this yesterday. Be on a team. I really believe that. Like I know a lot of us are A type kind of, hey, I'm a sniper, I can do it by myself. Having a business partner for me has been invaluable. And now and the team, we're stronger together. So if I was a brand new agent, I was starting tomorrow, there's no way I would do this on my own. No way. I'd find a team, a great leader, someone I trusted, liked. I would forego some commission because I'll tell you why. Being with the right team, the right leadership, you'll learn more in a year than most agents do in 5 years.
Hmm.
So for me, it's like I'm paying for an education. They always say, like, imagine if I could get hired out of college. I was a finance guy by Warren Buffett, and say he said, "I'm not going to pay you a penny, but I'll teach you." I would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Right? Like knowledge is so valuable, but sometimes we get caught in the weeds of, well, I got to give up 10% to, or whatever percent to be on a team. Yeah, but if it fast forwards if it gives you trajectory and relationships and all these things, even our team members now, they say, it's kind of a silly example, but we have contacts for everything: plumbers, electricians, contractors. Every time they need something, like, it is so great that I can send one group text and have somebody immediately because of your relationships. Just that one little piece is valuable, right? So, young agent, I would say join a team. Be careful who you listen to, right? I only listen to and get coached by those who did it. There's a lot of social media. I hate to say it, I'm just gonna be blunt. There's a lot of fakes out there, right?
Yeah.
So the people that I follow or listen to, they are legit. They've done it. They've lived it, breathed it, right? And yeah, I just wouldn't do it on my own if I was brand new.
Man, that I always say I didn't put the team concept on it, but I like it because I think a lot of agents need to be on a team. I always say get connected to somebody that is already doing it on a high level and copy what they're doing.
Yes.
And there's no other quicker way to do that, honestly, than being on a team, because they're going to provide you with some of the training. They're going to provide you with some of the insight. Um, and one of the things that I've been able to do within the model that, with the brokers that we're at right now, which I wasn't able to do before, is help people to come off the team and create their own thing. That wasn't something that was a real big focus with me before, because if somebody left the team, it was almost like it was a revolving door. You kind of train your competition, right?
Yep.
So when they leave, you're like, all right, so they're going to go out and they're going to compete with you in the marketplace. Now, because of the alignment that we have here, I'm able to help those same agents, giving them my best marketing strategies, my best ways to get listings, my best ways to formate their own team and give it to them so they can utilize it. And we all, because we're the alignment, we all benefit together.
I love that you said that, and personally, like, in my heart, again, being a team guy my whole life, playing sports and everything, exactly what you said is now one of the happiest moments of my career, where we have it set up almost where when you come in brand new, you will get you to a certain level of production. Then it's, how do we double your business? And then third is, it's almost like a college graduation. You've made it. You're now at the point where you can have your own team. And we had a couple agents this year do that. It was kind of beautiful. It was like watching my kid go to college. Like, we did it, right? And anywhere, any other different without our alignment, as you said, that would be a tough day.
Yep.
Right? Because then you're losing that person. You're still happy for them, but you're losing them. We're fortunate that with this model and this alignment, they're still there, they're still in the office, and we get to watch them even grow even more. So you said it perfectly.
Yeah, man. I mean, my thing, man. I want the people that trust me and connected with to actually do better, bigger than I did. So that, I mean, I say that and I mean it 100%. So the fact that you got that whole plan, I mean, it just shows that the reason why we connected and some of the stuff that we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But DJ, man, I mean, it's been great talking to you, man. I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you, for being who you are, and helping people, man. Like, so once again, like I said, we do these every Thursday at 11 o'clock, interviewing an agent that's killing it in their marketplace, and just strictly to add tremendous value. So if you want to know more about, like, some of the stuff that we've been doing to help agents, want to know what we've been doing to help people grow their business, just reach out to me. It's jameshmassey.com. area with DJ, you can reach out to him as well. But once again, man, I appreciate you. And to the next event, right?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you as well. Durbin will be coming to shareholders. Unfortunately, I had another obligation, but Build I will be at, and I know you'll be there, so I'm looking forward to it.
At Bill, and the good thing about Bill, there's no golf carts.
Never forget that.
All right, man. To the next time.
All right, awesome. Have a good one.